Now it's time for another Board Game Brawl preview with Nick Minahan, sponsored by BoardGameBliss.com. Hey now, my name is Nick, this is Board Game Brawl, and today we're going to be taking a look at a game that is currently seeking funding on Kickstarter. That game is called Queen of the Hill, and it's from the company Medieval Lords. Now, if you like what you see throughout the rest of this preview video, I'm going to encourage you to go to the official Kickstarter project page. I'll have a link in the top corner of your screen on the card. You can just click on that and it will pop out the Kickstarter link, or down in the description section of the video, you'll find the link there as well. Go to the official Kickstarter project page, find out more information than I could possibly tell you during this brief video, and hopefully consider backing the project. Now, what is Queen of the Hill? This is a light push your luck card game for 2 to 6 players. The goal of the game is very simple. Have as many army points as possible during each round of play. The first person to win 2 rounds of the game wins the entire game, and then you can play again. The catch, however, is that you can draw as many cards as you want during the course of the game, but if you draw the wrong card, the Dark Lord card, you are toast. You lose all of your points for the round, so you do not want that to happen. It's all a matter of using the cards that you have collected wisely and trying your best to get as many points without pushing your luck too much. Let me go ahead and give you a brief look at all the cards in the game and how it works with a prototype version of the game. So the artwork is not necessarily going to be final for the final version of the game, and the designer did want me to point out specifically that while there are some depictions of some scantily clad women in the game, that is not the entire focus and intent of the game. Rather, it's just designed to have sort of cute anime style artwork, and it's definitely a game for all ages. So let me go ahead and give you a look at the prototype version of the game. Then we're going to come back. I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, I'm going to give you a brief overview of Queen of the Hill. This is a push your luck card game for 2 to 6 players. The goal of the game is to win 2 rounds of the game by having the most army points at the end of each round. As soon as someone gets 2 wins under their belt, that's the end of the game and you can start over. Now, I just want to reiterate, this is a prototype version of the game, so the artwork that you see here is not going to be final in the final version of the game, and some of the game mechanisms may change as well. Now, very simply, on your turn, you draw cards from the deck until you no longer want to draw cards anymore. You can draw a card and decide to keep going until either you decide to stop or you draw the Dark One card. If you draw the Dark One card, what that says is that let me focus in here a bit, remove all cards from your play area and end your turn, which means you are not going to be scoring any points for that round and your turn is over. It goes to the next player. But let's assume that you do not draw a Dark One card. When you draw a card, which is either going to be one of the special ability cards like the Ruby Heels, or is going to be one of the many character cards in the game depicting female adventurers, you are going to put it into one of 2 areas of your own playing field. Well, one is either going to be your council area, which is also considered your hand, which is where the cards are going to go if you decide to use them for your special ability. If you decide to use them for their special ability, you ignore the points on the card up in the top corner and just put it into your hand. You will not gain access to it right away. Instead, you have to wait until the next round of play, at which point you will be able to use the special ability cards in your hands. Instead, you may choose to do the opposite, which is you put it into your army points area as points, potential points at the end of the round, assuming you do not draw the Dark Favor card. And that's basically how the tenor of the game is going to go. You're going to keep drawing, putting cards in one of those 2 places, not showing them to the other players. It's very important that all cards are kept secret, so none of the other players know how many points you have potentially amassed. They can only guess based, and since every card has different numbers, they can only guess based on the number of cards that you've decided to keep, and they may decide to push their luck and draw a commensurate amount of cards. It's entirely up to them. But every player is going to have a spread out there just like this, with army cards and potential cards that are going to go into their hands for use in later rounds. And then if it is a later round, any round from the second on, they may choose to use those action cards in order to influence the final reveal when points are tallied. So when everyone has had their chance to draw from the deck, everyone flips over their army cards. That's obviously a bad example because that actually was a Dark One card. But let's say that it was let's say that this was my spread, I would have a total of 10 points there between my different character cards. And I would compare that to all the other players' points. Whoever had the most is going to win the round. So let me go ahead and give you specifically what all of the other cards in the game do. So obviously the big important one that I already mentioned was the Dark One card, which is going to effectively end your turn and keep you from getting any points for the round. You've pushed your luck and you busted, essentially. You have the Techie card, which is worth 2 points, and before cards are revealed, you remove a card of your choice from any play area if you choose to use it for its ability. The Kunoichi's ability is during the tally phase, you add 4 to your total points. You must not already be at 0 points. The Succubus is before cards are revealed, choose one of yours and one from another player. Reveal both cards. If that card is a higher value, you take that player's card. Then you have the Troll. When another player ends his turn, force him to draw another 3 cards first. The Dragon Rider. Before cards are revealed, all opponents must discard a random card from their play area. The Pirate. Only play this during your turn. Steal up to 2 random cards from another player's hand. The Bombardier. Before cards are revealed, choose up to 3 cards to discard from a single player's play area. The Thief. You play it to cancel out a ruby heal or a broken mirror, which we'll get to. The Berserker. You discard a card from your hands to use this. Choose a player to discard up to 3 cards from his hand. The Seraph has no effect, but notice that it is worth a whopping 8 points. The Illusionist. During the tally phase, swap any one card from one play area with another card from another play area. The Musician. During the tally phase, choose a card to have its points increased by its original amount written. And then the 2 special items, the Broken Mirror, which cancels out the effect of a character card played from a player's hand, and the Ruby Heals, which lets you discard a Dark One you draw without effect. It protects you from the Dark One. So that's everything you can expect from Queen of the Hill. You are trying to get the most army points as possible, trying to push your luck without pushing it too far. Now, let's get to my final thoughts. The thing about Queen of the Hill and about any game that is within this genre and type of game is that while it is a simple game, and it's easy to learn, it's easy to play, it's fast to play, it does have choices and decision making, and it gives players options. You have different things that you can do. Not only just like, do I take this card for points, or do I take this card as a special ability? But then, assuming you get those cards as special abilities, when is the right time to play them? Who do you play them against? Who do you try to stymie? And who do you think is going to try to use their cards against you in a negative impact? You want to try to hurt them as much as possible. It's keeping the other player's points down, keeping their usable cards down if possible with some of the more attacky cards that are in the game, and so on and so forth. But of course, there is that all-important decision. Do I continue to draw cards? How much do I want to push my luck? And it's all about looking at what the other players have already done before you, unless you're in the unenviable position of being first. Looking at the number of cards that they have and knowing, well, okay, they have 4 cards, but what does that mean? Do they have 4 cards that are worth 3 points, or do they have one of the 8-point cards? Do they have a couple of the 5s? What amount of points do they reasonably have based on the number of cards that they have? And how many do I need to draw to think that I even have a shot at overcoming that? These are the kinds of decisions you have to make during the course of the game, so that while it is simple, while it is fast, while it is easy to learn, you have to bear these kind of things in mind, which gives it just a little bit of that strategic edge that a lot of these other card games have as well, and that Queen of the Hill definitely makes the most of. On top of that, you have this cute anime-style artwork that is going to appeal to a large amount of people. So, all these different things together definitely make for a game that is very interesting, and if it is a game that interests you, I'm going to encourage you to go to the official Kickstarter project page, click on the link down in the description section of the video, or at the card in the top corner of your screen, find out more information, and hopefully consider backing Queen of the Hill from Medieval Lords. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Board Game Bliss, where you can find an amazing selection of games from around the world. BoardGameBliss.com. Thanks for your support.